Okay, we're going to start with some inbound routes to figure out how the system is going to act when people call us, like if we're a business or an organization or even as a house. We need to have things coming in. And if you're under the PBX section, under PBX configuration, the item right underneath inbound call controls is inbound routes. This can get pretty involved, and it's pretty interesting what you can do with it. You can actually route calls based on their DID number, like if somebody actually called a specific number. So one phone server can have multiple phone numbers given to it. So I could be, well, like LTC. I have 693-1000, 693-1208. Those are actually outside lines. Those are things that you're purchasing, those numbers. If that number hit the PBX, it then can go somewhere. So that's how that works. The second part is the caller ID, not who you're calling inside, but who's calling from the outside. This is kind of nice for sales or for service. If this customer calls, it's going to go right to their sales rep, or it's going to go, right to on hold forever music, or whatever. But so you can have it based on caller ID. I actually do use this feature depending on like when I call my house of where things go. So I get a different menu than everybody else does. But for the most time, we'd have all calls, no matter what caller ID or what number they're calling in, go to the same spot. So we just have one number. We don't care who you are. We just kind of come into our system. And that's usually how I call it, is just called all calls or all incoming calls. I'll even change that, all incoming calls. And I leave the DID and the caller ID number fields blank. So that means it's going to accept any number that's being called and any number from anybody. Moving on down, here's some options: privacy manager, source, language. The really only important thing is the bottom part, is the destination. So when somebody calls in with any number and any caller ID and any direct DID number, where should it go? And this is where you have the options. You can have it go to a single extension. So in this case, if I just put an extension, let me see. I have extension 101, which is Paul 2. So anytime that somebody would call 7777, an inbound call, that's where it's going to end up going to. So I'm going to submit that. To simulate an inbound call, I'm sorry? Last thing? Okay, I'll go through that last thing again. If you ever need to edit an item, over here it says all incoming calls. That is what you called it. You can click on it to edit it. The thing that you actually change is the very bottom where it says set destinations. So when an inbound call, when a call comes in, where should it go? And right now I want it to go to a specific extension. So right now, this classroom is set up with 20 extensions for the 20 of you, and so it could go anywhere. In fact, I'll put it to somebody else. Who should I put it to? I'll do it to Jessica. She's right there on the list. So, and you can designate that that person will receive all the calls, whether that's the manager or whether that's the receptionist or whether that's the president or, whoever that's going to be. Now to simulate an inbound call, you use 7777 because we don't have that voice service provider connection yet. So we're just going to simulate a call, and I do it by dialing 7777, and it should hit my server, and it's not working. Let me just try 135, Jesse. What's that? I can't. What's that? Now you hear what? So anyway, that is going to be, go ahead and try that in your group. Designate an individual to receive the call. have other people dial 7777 to come into the call, to simulate an outside call coming in, and see if it actually gets that person. So we can have it go coming in and go to a specific extension. That's what we're just practicing and showing that. We can have it go, if it was like a sales department, we could have it go to a ring group and ring everybody. And so let's do that one next. So on your inbound routes, choose your all incoming calls. And it says a destination. Well, I switched mine to terminate call just so I could see if the hold music works, and it does. You can have it go to a ring group, and then you can choose your ring group. Now, these are ones that I did yesterday, like sales or ring all is 601. And I'll click submit. Why not? And then I apply the changes. So now on my phone, well, it sounds like somebody's already doing that. Somebody beat me to it. They are dialing 7777 as if it's simulating somebody calling into my company, and it hit the ring group called Ring All. And so it should ring all the phones on that server. You created a ring group, correct? Set that as your new destination and see if that works for you. Try to get it to work that way for you as well. Okay, the next feature I want to show you is for the inbound routes. Obviously, you can go to an individual person, or you can go to the whole group or department, or wherever it's going to go. We might want to control where it goes based on whether we're open or closed. And so the next feature I want to show you is the feature called the day-night mode. And it's called day-night, but it can be used for vacations, or it can be used for open or closed. It can be used for we're closed for the noon hour, or anything that you want to be doing for. Something that you are going to manually toggle and say, I want to do this in this situation or do this in this situation. This we're starting to have like a flow chart. Comes in handy. And if you've taken Visio, great, because you're going to ultimately have to do this. Now I'm going to be having a decision with this inbound call based on different decisions, and it's kind of a yes, no, a two-way street. If you looked at the Visio decisions coming into the diamond, I might have two ways of coming out, and it really is that way. It's called day-night, but it's really any either-or situation at all. I'll do a very, very simple one to begin with, which would be for day and night. So on the left-hand side of the PBX configuration, I have a day-night control. If I click on day-night control, it brings up, I can have one of, I think, like 10 different day-night controls. So in your flow chart, you could have 10 decisions in your flow chart of what's going to happen when. The description, I'm just going to call it day-night. And the current mode is in day, and that's kind of your default, so it's going to be in your day mode. And again, don't get stuck with day-night only. It's the two sides of the diamond of the decision shape. One is day and one is night, but that could be anything decision that's going to be. True, false, yes, no, it certainly could be. Yep. Vacation, special hours, technical difficulties, company picnic, all that kind of stuff, whatever it's going to be, of what's going to determine where this call is going to go. And like I said, very basically, the day-night mode. We'll work with recordings a little bit later on, but right now, we just want to go to the destination. So during the day, we actually now choose, I wanted to do to a specific extension or a group again. You've already done this, so you kind of figure out either way. Either you can have it ring everybody's phone during the day, or you could have it go to, like I said, the receptionist. So I'll choose the operator, the company operator, and I'll try this extension this time. Hopefully it'll work. At night, what do you want to happen? Well, I don't want to run the extension because I won't be there. No one will be there. What do you want to do with it? And right now, I'm just going to terminate the call by putting them on hold forever. So, and that's just because it's built in. We're going to work with recordings in a little bit, but I want to get the concept down here first. And then you click Save, and then you click Apply. Now at this point, you really need to keep track of this feature code, the *80, and this would be part of your company phone book or the little charts they put on the walls or whatever. This is what turns the feature on and off, short of going into the PBX, logging in, going to PBX features, going into day-night controls, flipping the switch from day to night. So you don't want to be doing that. You just want the operator at the end of the day, when he's ready to leave for the day, hit *80, it flips it over to night mode, and now all the calls will be answered by someplace else or something else. We're going to get there one step at a time. This is the manual one. There's an automatic one as well. This is the manual one, so you could use this for any reason. As a small company, I'm the only operator. I'm going to put it in night mode or bathroom mode, and it could get rerouted to a different person during that time, or whatever. And then I come back to my desk, and then I switch it to back from bathroom mode or whatever it's going to be, and then then I'll receive it. So this is a manual thing. This is very, very manual. There's definitely automated things. And maybe, it depends on the operator. Sometimes I come in early and stay late or leave early. I want to be very manual. I want to do this. Just sort of go with the analogy. I know there's limitations. Okay, so I do this. So now the idea, and you can even see that it's green right now. So that means it's in day mode. If I flip this to night and refreshed it, it should turn red, and it is red. So you can always tell what mode it is if you're just quickly looking. And again, don't think day-night. Think yes, no, either or, bathroom, back, We'll get to that as well. So anyway, so I should be in day mode right now. And now I'm going to try my 7777. And you're getting it, which I thought I was calling myself, but that's okay. I'm going to switch this. Oh, somebody switched it to night mode. I thought I switched it back to day. Anyway, let's try this. Let me just try this one more time here. Oh, I completely forgot. The other part I was supposed to tell you is realize now that with that decision tree, I'm not connected to it. I still have my inbound route going to everybody. Okay, so I have to break this, and I come into the decision tree, and now I make it, either way. So my inbound route has to change. So I choose my all incoming calls option on the right-hand side. And right now it's saying it's going to ring all, which is exactly what it did. I need to switch this now to a day-night mode function. And I can have up to 10 of them. I only have one configured, so there's only one on the list. And this is the feature that I'm enabling right now. And I click Submit, and I click Apply. So now it's going to come into that day-night mode. And now let me try this. And it rings my line 102, which is supposed to do. Okay, now it's the end of the day, or I want to take a break, or whatever. So now what I'm going to do is, from my phone, I'm going to dial *280. It just told me on my phone that the day feature, the day-night mode feature, has now been deactivated. So it actually confirms that's been deactivated. So it's in the second state. It's in the night mode. So now if I dial 7777, I'm getting the hold music, which is what I would expect to have happened. I come back in the morning. I come up to my phone. I dial *280. Now it says that feature is activated, and now I should be back in day mode. When I call, it'll route to the proper places. So just for fun, just to add a second layer to this whole thing is under the day-night mode controls. I'm going to add a second one, and I'll call it bathroom. That's feature 1. And if it's, now again, yes or no. So bathroom, normally I'm not the bathroom, so that's your sort of default. So normally during the day, it's going to ring my extension. So extension 102 as far as the operator. And then if I go to the bathroom though, I'm going to have it ring someone else's extension. I'll do James. Okay? And now I save this. Now thinking flowchart wise, what do I have to do at this point? My inbound route doesn't change. I still have day-night. Think about this. Where's bathroom going to fit in here? There's day-night. Night goes to hold. Day is going to me. So 102. So what am I doing here? Day is going to a new diamond. Day now goes to bathroom. So the day mode, which is the normal day, still goes to 102. And now the night is going to go to 111 to James. So start to see the flow of how this is going. Still, when I trigger the star 280, it's still going to go to night and night. So I'm going to get, wherever I'm going to do with it at night. I'm going to take care of it at night. And then during the day, I now have a second option. And so let me go ahead and save that. Oh, by the way, if you noticed, it always uses the feature code star 28 star. Star 28. And the feature code number, the bathroom one happens to be feature 1. So let's go back to the day-night mode. And I have to look at the day. So during the day now, I'm not going to extension me anymore. I'm going to go to a day-night mode 2, or the second one, which is number 1. I need to save it, and I click apply. So ultimately, if they're both set to day, which they both are, the result is still the same. I'm still going to get that call. And it rings, and there's my phone, and that's working fine. Now, oh, wait a second, I have to go to the bathroom. So I do star 281. So it tells me that feature 1 has been deactivated now, which is the bathroom one. Now if I call, it says I can call you. Is your phone on my server? Hopefully. For my bathroom did? That's for me during the day, and at night it's supposed to go to James, or when I'm at the bathroom. I'll try somebody else. Chris, is yours is working? You're on my server, right? Okay. Let me just try it again. So you can see that, day is yes and bathroom is no, if you're thinking yes, no. And your phone's ringing then. So that's what's going to happen while I'm gone. And he won't even know the difference. It's just going to happen automatically. He's going to get the phone call. I come back. I do star. Sorry. No. Okay. Right. It's not night mode. That's why get day-night out of your mind. Day-night out of your mind. What's on the screen right now? The day-night mode is green. Do it this way. Green, red. Red, green. Do it this way. Green, red, green, red. So my first decision is green. So that's coming this way. Correct? My second decision is red, so it's going this way. Okay? You're absolutely correct. Now I switch the first one, so I do *280. I just deactivated that one. Refresh my page. And it shows up as red. And I get my hold music. And at that point, it doesn't matter if this is red or green at this point, because I'm here. We're just using those. We're just using these as examples of putting call on hold forever. Yeah, why wouldn't you go to voicemail, or why wouldn't you have an announcement? Because we don't have voicemail yet. We don't have announcements yet. And sort of showing you the need for those is kind of why I'm doing this, is showing you the structure first, and then we'll sort of plug some of those other things in. So we're working with what we have so far. And right now, all we can do is ring individuals, we can ring groups, and we can go to another decision, and we can put people on hold. That's pretty much all we can do right now. Sure, and that's actually a call itself then. That wouldn't be a manual decision tree factor. All we're doing right now is doing, because Bill wants an example. Any way that you want. Well, let's do night. Let's, do you want a third layer deep, or do you just want a third option on? Okay, so lunch. Oh, okay. So when would I do lunch? Sure. Yeah, a really good example. Probably the bathroom wouldn't be. Probably that's a very specific thing as opposed to lunch or whatever. You might want to just say away from my desk. Away. So if the operator, and this is just this one scenario, think of all the different scenarios that you could do. Let me come up with a different tree. But anyways, just for right now, for this example, just have bathroom just away. I'm walking away to get coffee. I'm going to switch the phone over. I'm walking away to the bathroom. I'm walking away for lunch. I'm walking away to a meeting. So I set it in that mode so that the calls just don't go ring, 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 and then roll over to someplace else. It's going to put it there immediately, as a backup person. Yeah, you can have different trees for different inbound routes. You could have all different. Say that you have a manual. Say it. Yeah, that'd be really hard to come up with reasons to come up with more than one or two. As you're seeing some of these, it's like, wouldn't it be nice to actually announce different things? Yeah, right now we're just dumping them to hold or dumping them to a user or a different extension or whatever. Well, the last thing I want to talk about right now is working with system recordings and announcements and those kinds of things. This is where having it written down and scripted is very important. I don't have it scripted, so I'm just going to do it on the fly. But if you're doing actual system recordings, it's good to have it written down and not just do it. Now, looking at this example of, going to day-night mode, at night, wouldn't it be nice to, like, instead of just being put on hold forever, like being told, hey, our normal hours are, hey, your call's important to us. Please call back during these times. Now, again, we don't have the voicemail feature yet. We're still working on, that'll be coming. So we just apply what we have. So we're applying with what we have. So the system, the announcements section on the left-hand side, it talks about adding announcements, but you can't really add announcements without recordings. And this is where it gets a little interesting. The process of how we get a system recordings and announcements all together. So do pay attention to this section because it's not documented the best, and it's missing a couple, key things. So, I'm just under PBX configuration, and announcements is one of the categories. It's the third one underneath inbound routes is announcements. And just like we add extensions or whatever, we have nothing to really add. So in order to add, announcement, we need a recording. Announcements themselves are just like a placeholder. We're going to call it something. A welcome message would be the announcement. The recording of what that welcome message says is a different file in a different location. We have to get those first. Does that make sense? So I completely agree. It's a little backwards and it's a little confusing, but this is just how it is, and we learn the system and we adapt. So we go down to system recordings, way down the bottom. It's like the fourth, fifth, last one from the bottom, system recordings. And this is where we get to actually record them. Usually finding somebody with a good voice and they can read properly is helpful. I'm just going to do it anyway, even though I hate my voice on recordings, but oh well, that's what it is. So you have a group to choose from, flip a coin and figure out who's going to be recording for your group. Okay, there are built-in recordings. So if you click on built-in recordings, you can sort of see different things that are there. There isn't a great way of listening to them, unfortunately. So you kind of have to just can choose them. They have different languages as well. EN is the section that you'd probably be looking for. Those that understand Spanish very well, they have a whole Spanish section as well. Lots of ENs for English, and then we have a bunch of ESs for Spanish. And so these are pre-recorded things. I haven't used those. I'm not really comfortable with them. I know what I want to say, well, typically, and then I just record it. To do that, I just click on Add Recording. And if it says you can do it two different ways. One is you can actually upload from your phone. You can record right from your phone's receiver. The other way is to do it on your computer and save it as a WAV file. It's really, really, really important that you get the exact formatting correct of that WAV file. It must be, and they highlighted must, and it truly is must. It must be PCM encoded. So you have to find, it says Microsoft Recorder, and I'm not even sure if they even have all these features that you can set on them. So you might have to find a good recorder that allows you to encode it in PCM encoding, and it has to be 16-bit. Depth, and then the sampling rate has to be 8,000 hertz or 8 kilohertz. I mean, if any of those are off, it's not going to upload and work right. Most times it's just simpler just to record right from the phone. To do that, you grab the extension that you want to work with. I'll work with extension 103. It's on my phone over here, and I click go. At that point, it's just sort of sitting there waiting for you. So you pick up your phone, and you dial *77, and you wait for a second, and you'll hear a beep. It doesn't tell you to do anything. You just do a beep, and then you record your message. And this is where a script comes in handy, such as, we are closed right now. Please call back to our normal business hours. Our normal business hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Now, what it doesn't tell you is that when you're done with that, you have to hit the pound key. Otherwise, you sit there on the phone and you sit, and it's just like, what's happening? I don't know. You have to hit pound. It's right on the screen, *77. So that part does tell you, so that's good. So when you get to this part, you can look at your screen and you can, it does tell you. The part it does not tell you is using the pound. So I'm going to go, let's see, line 103. So I do *77. I'm sorry that we're closed right now. Please call back during our normal business hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Thank you. I hit pound. And then you can listen to it, re-record it, and all that kind of stuff. You can re-record it saying, oh, I just really messed that up, and you can re-record it right on the fly. Say you're fine with it, you just hang up and you're done. Click the recording name that you want to put on this, and I'm going to put closed. Name it anything that you want, and then click Save. And now you have a closed recording. Now you can use that recording for all kinds of different things. Later on, when we talk about the IVR, or the automated attendant, all those are system recordings. Announcements can be system recordings. So all of this, all of the voices stuff is kept together in one place, and you use them in different aspects. Either use them as announcements or automated attendant features. We're going to be using it just as an announcement because that's the easiest right now. And so I'm going to go back to announcements. And it comes up with a description. Now this is an announcement description. And I'm going to call it just closed again. Now that I have a system recording, I have something to select from the recording list. Now, once you create a lot of them, this list can be very, very long, especially if it's going to be like for customer service, press 1, for the manager, press 2, for the operator, press 0. You're going to have all these different recordings in there. This is the only one I have right now, and it's closed. You can have it repeat. So it's going to keep, I'm sorry, we're closed, call back to these hours, we're closed, call back to these hours, we're closed, call back to these hours. That's up to you. You can have it there or not. The recording doesn't change. That's a nice feature, that you can use the same recording multiple ways. So under description, I could put closed repeat or closed non-repeat. And so then you can use an announcement in different aspects. Allow to skip. Do you want the person to be able to hit a key to skip the message? Of course I don't. I want them to listen to me. If it came from an automated attendant, do you want to return to that automated attendant? And that'll make more sense when we get there. Finally, after it's done playing the message, this is again another important part. This is all part of your looping part and your logic and your flowchart, is where does it go after this? Now this time, I'm going to terminate the call and hang up. So I'm sorry, we're closed, call back during these hours, and then it hangs up. Yes, I know we would probably put voicemail in there, but we don't have that yet. We'll get there. And I submit the changes. Now just realize I put an announcement in there, but nothing's referencing it. Where might I want to reference this announcement? My day-night mode. And my true day-night mode, which would be, right now it's off. So my day-night is off, so it's a night mode. So instead of putting the caller on hold forever, I'm going to switch this to an announcement. And I didn't have this list before because I didn't have any announcements to choose from before. And now I only have one announcement to choose, and that's my closed announcement. So we get the flow chart. It's day, night, play the announcement. At the end of the announcement, hang up. And drawing this out on paper is really important because you're saying, boy, this gets really confusing and, it's a circular loop and whatever very quickly. And it does. That's why you need to draw this out. Okay, I did this. I'm going to save it. I'm going to apply it. I'm already in night mode, so I should be getting that announcement. So I'm sorry that we're closed right now. Please call back during our normal business hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Thank you. And then it hangs up. So it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, again, on the operator, I come back in the morning. Star 280, send. Your call. Oops, star. I missed the star. Reception 0. But it does say that I'm still at the bathroom, so I better switch that too. So they're both green, and now when I call, it just goes right to my ringing. I'm done. At the end of the day, I switch it back to night mode, and now it's going to go, I'm sorry that we're closed. The same thing can actually happen during the day. I'm away from my desk right now. Please leave a message, and they could go to voicemail or whatever. That's kind of a stretch because there's other ways of doing that. You can actually put your phone in that mode, but it's just kind of the idea. You could have it, going from normally it'd go to the sales department. All sales calls go to the sales department. Oh, there's a big sales meeting, so they're not available, so it's just going to automatically switch over or something like that. So that's a way of working with the manual connections of day, night, those mode of switching back and forth. If you're concerned about people switching your day-night mode, for the day-night mode, if all of a sudden you have one of your, because anybody on the system can dial in the *80 and *81. I'm sorry, *280 and *281 to switch from day-night mode. Anybody on the server can dial those feature codes to turn them on and off, and you probably don't want one of your employees just to get an easy day to flip into night mode and no calls today. It's great. Or do it accidentally. You do have an option of putting a password on there, and so they have to type in the feature code and then enter a password in order to actually activate that. Now, obviously, the operator would have to know, and whoever else needs to flip that mode would have to know that. But if it got out, you just change it to something else and save it. Don't forget to set on your phone. If you're hitting pound and nothing happens, it just means that your phone is sending the wrong type of signal. So it's sending the tone, but it's not being received. It's on your phone, 172.16.207.100. It's under each account, and it's about halfway down. Send DTMF. Make sure that you have via RTP. Make sure you're on account 4. The new phones, by the way, default to that, which is really nice. Did you notice that? Kind of like with announcements, we kind of do things backwards. We have to set something up before we can actually use it in something else. Like we have to record the actual recording before we can use it in an announcement. And so that's, we're doing the same thing with time conditions. I just drew a visual drawing. This is our ultimate goal. We have an incoming call, and we want it to be in this special day-night situation. So sort of like a manual toggle switch, so that if something came up, there's flooding and we're closed, or there's a funeral or a party or a special holiday that we're closed for, something manual that normally would be open, but I want it to be very, very first. So it's the very first thing that comes in. 99.9% of the time it's going to be coming to the day mode and just sort of following through. It's just sort of that switch right at the top that can trigger it someplace else and sort of bypass the rest of your menuing system and the rest of your structure. So it's kind of good to have that valve way up on top. Even if you never use it, it's good to have it there, though, so you don't have to reconfigure stuff to make, last second, drastic changes. The part we're going to work on now is really what you guys talked about before, is saying, well, can't we just have it from 8 till 5 or whatever? And that's what we're going to do right now. Those are the time conditions. So we have normal hours, we'll say, 8 to 5 or whatever. And if it's normal conditions, then I'm going to come back into my decision tree. Am I away from my desk? I renamed it, by the way, from bathroom to away from my desk. So that applies to anything. If it's in day mode, because remember that it is a day-night function, it isn't a yes-no. So it's a day-night. So if it's during the day, which would be on, then it comes to me, the operator. And if I'm away, I flip into night mode, even though it's in the middle of the day. It's going to end up going back to Chris again for extension 113. If the time conditions are, not valid, then I'm going to go back to a normal closed announcement, which is already recorded, so I'm fine with that. So I just kind of have this special one to work with, that we're closed unexpectedly or because of the holidays or something like that. And you could actually have different conditions saying, holidays or whatever. So I do need to record this. it's kind of good to kind of work backwards on these things. To flow it, do the whole flow chart type thing, figure out where you need where, get all the pieces in place, and then sort of connect the pieces like a puzzle. So I do need a system recording for this announcement, and I think I have everything else. I just have to work with the time conditions. So I'll do the system recording first. And again, this is where I want to add a new feature. So I have my regular day, night. I'm sorry, no, that's not the announcements. I'm just going to rename this to a normal closed announcement. And I want to make a new one. So I go to System Recordings. I want to use extension 103. And I hit go. What am I going to say? We're closed unexpectedly. I don't know. We're no longer in business. No. Okay, *77. I'm sorry that we're currently closed. Please try your call later. I don't know what else to say. That's where you usually think about these things ahead of time. Okay, so I'm done. And so this time I didn't say, we're closed, call back during normal business hours, because this could be normal business hours. So you don't want to have that message that be like, what do you mean? I hate those messages, by the way. So this would be a special closed message. Oh, I need a number, no space. Special closed. There we go, special closed. By the way, you can go back in at any time. You have that special closed message. If you look at this, you can actually link this to a feature code. And I save this, which means that I can dial *295 and re-record that message anytime that I want. And so again, that might be to the operator or to the manager's position. Why am I closed? This is where the school announcement would be. We're closed today because of snow. We're closed today because of tornado. We're closed today because of, I don't know, it's too sunny. What are the reasons going to be? So you can set this up as a feature code link as well, and very quickly and easily re-record that special announcement. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so now I have my recordings. Now I need to work with those time conditions. Just like announcements, I really need to set up this system recording before I can use announcement. Same thing with time conditions. I need to set up time groups before I can have conditions to how I use those conditions, use those groups. So it's kind of simpler than it appears, kind of. It can be complex, but my description would be like normal hours. So these are normal hours. And you can have multiple conditions, but my start time, I'm going to say 8 a.m. And just for our scenario, I'm going to say, so 8 o'clock until 11:25. 11:25. How's 11:25? What day of the week do you want to start with? I'm going to start this on Mondays, and I'm going to finish this on Fridays. Now, it can also be month date, so it can be like I'm going to do the 1st to the 15th, or only on the 15th, or only in January. These are my normal hours, or whatever you want to do. You can also have vacation hours. You can have all kinds of different scenarios we're doing for time conditions. And again, just very, very simple. Here's normal hours. And I click submit. Oops. So now I have under time groups, I have a time group called normal hours. And you can have multiple time conditions. So you could actually have 8 until 11:30, and then maybe again from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock. If you really want to do something like that. Mondays through Thursdays, because on Fridays we're just done at 11:30. However you want to do that. And that's again where you can be very creative. So those are my normal hours. Now I work with my time conditions. This is what makes that decision for us. That's that decision tree portion of it. So what do you want to call here? And a lot of times we end up naming these things, the same type of things. This is a time condition. This is normal hours. Well, what's going to decide whether this is normal hours? This time group, the normal hours time group. And again, it's like, what? I don't, just time groups are just a definition of time, and you can use it for anything that you want. The time condition is how do I use that group? What's it going to mean and what's it going to do? So I'm going to use the normal hours. You can associate it with different modes, forced day, forced night, or whatever. So remember we have that day-night mode that we're working with. You could actually, bypass that. I prefer to actually make the decisions off the tree of where it's going to go, and that's where I get if the time matches. Well, let's look at the flow chart. So if the time matches, where am I going? Oh, I'm going away to this decision of I'm away from my desk. So let me choose that. So I'm going to be choosing, it is a decision. It's a day-night mode. It's a day-night mode, and it's the one that says away from my desk. Well, what if the time does not match? Then I go to my announcement of my normal closed announcement, and I click submit. So I kind of took care of this part of the tree right here. Well, actually, I'm sorry, this whole part. So I have it coming in for a time condition, yes or no, and then where it's going to go. Now I have to sort of work up here. So my incoming call needs to come into my day-night mode, my master switch. For day, it needs to come into this time condition, and if night, I need to go to this special closed announcement. Which, by the way, I just made the system recording. I didn't actually create the official announcement yet. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to call it special closed. Here I can have spaces, I guess. Special closed. I'm sorry. Here's my recording. Here's my special closed recording. And now what I can do at the end of it, well, I'm just going to hang up. Terminate the call and hang up. Okay, going back to my drawing. Now I need to have this special closing. Day is going to my time condition. Night is going to there. So coming in my inbound route, make sure I'm actually going to the right place. All incoming calls is going to my day-night mode called day-night. Okay? Just to clarify that, I'm just going to go back and actually rename that one. A day-night control. I'll call it special closed. What's nice, it keeps all the same numbers, so I don't have to worry about that. So this is only a special situation. So, okay, my incoming route will come into my special closed condition. Okay, my special closed condition, normally it's going to go to, during the day, the normal condition, I want to go someplace else. Where is it going to go? Now it's going to go to a time condition. And again, this wasn't on your list before because you didn't have a time condition. So I'm going to add a time condition. Which time condition? I only have one, so it's normal hours. For my nighttime announcement, or when it is toggled that way, it's going to do my normal close situation. So with all that, I need to change my time condition because I just missed it. Time group is what I need to change. And I'll change my time group to 11:30. And that's the nice part about this is I don't have to go through my whole system and change anything. If I do change my office hours, I just have to change it in the time group. So my normal hours are now 8 to 11:30 and 1 to 5. If I want to change that later on from 8 till 10 and then noon to 5, I can change that just to the group. So right now everything should be green. my day-night controls, I should be part of my normal control. So when I dial, I'm sorry that we're closed right now. We're closed. Back to normal business hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Thank you. What is my server time? Didn't even give me my time. Let's see here. What is my server time? How do I even find out? Date, time. Oh, it thinks it's 5:33 p.m. That is really interesting. It is actually 11:28. There we go. Okay. Now let's try it. And now it's ringing my phone exactly like it should be. So let's just move ahead in time a little bit to 11:32. And now when I call again, I'm sorry that we're closed right now. It tells me that I'm closed because it's not my normal business hours. So it did that time condition. Ultimately, if something came up, I could say like, oh no, I need to leave as a whole company. Star 280. I just flip this switch right here. I'm sorry that we're closed right now. Please call back during our normal business hours. Oh, I didn't. Come on. Did I apply it? Let's see. Elastics, PBX, day, night. Oh, didn't go. Star 280. Now it's deactivated. I'm sorry that we're closed right now. Please call back during our normal business hours. Is that the wrong announcement listed? Monday through Friday. I may not have changed it to the special one. Let's see here. Day-night mode. Special closed. Normal closed. Special closed. There we go. And that's why you need to test it to see, where you made mistakes. Just like that. I'm sorry that we're currently closed. Please try your call later. There we go. Drawing this stuff out on paper really helps out, like the Visio drawing, even down to the detail of what the announcements are going to be, so that because you're only looking at one screen at a time, all I'm looking at is this special features code for day-night, and you don't see the rest of the whole flow chart. So you need to, get the feel of where it's going. So, okay, any questions that we've covered so far about those decision trees? Okay. Next week, we're going to be working with the actual automated attendant, where you get to choose the options instead of just, dumping you to, we're closed or dumping you to a different extension. It's going to be, if you want sales, press 1. If you want customer service, press 2. If you want to talk to the operator, press 3. If you want to do whatever, press 4. If you want to listen to hold forever, press 5, and so forth. So that is what we're going to be doing. I am keeping the server up, by the way. The classroom server, if you want to keep playing with the classroom server, feel free to. Even if making changes on them, that's fine. I'll be taking snapshots of them as well so that you can, revert back to them. But any questions or comments? Okay. You should be doing this. We'll be finishing up this at the beginning of next class. Work on it now. You should be getting time conditions working on your server, working with time conditions that they do work, and that, both sides. It's normal business hours is not business hours. Having a flow chart very, very similar to this. Draw it out, implement it, and test it. So that's how you guys can work on it now, but we'll be starting the class next week that way as well. there'll be time to work on it next week. And then I'll be introducing the IVR to you. So that's the plan. Anything else? Todd? How to test it out? All your incoming calls, I should put this up here, all your incoming calls are 7777. So from any phone, you dial 7777, and that's like having an inbound route, inbound call. If you, on my server, on your server, yeah, just use line 1, but you can do it on my server as well, the classroom server. Just use line 4 and dial 7777. Change the settings, you know, yes, no, or whatever, time conditions. But on your server, use line 1 and dial 7777, and that's like somebody calling in. And then the flow chart begins. You know, is this day, night? Is this yes, no? Is this day, night? You know, how does this flow down here? And practice every single combination. You know, turn this on and off. Is that going right? Is this the right time condition, yes or no? Is that going right there? Is this going left or right? You know, you have to do the whole chart whenever you do this. Every single option. Because like in my situation, I had the wrong recording selected. And you don't know that unless you try it. You know, it looks great on the screen, but until you actually push the buttons, you don't know that for sure. Okay, well, have a good week.